Recording in progress. Okay. So as I explained, I've already got the meeting all here. So if it sounds scripted, it is. Okay, everybody, it's 12:15. I'd like to get started. I am Arthur Parks, your new president for the forthcoming year. It is Wednesday, July the 10th, and happens to be a big day in the USA. First of all, it's Happy Pina Colada Day today. And in case in case you're wondering what a pina colada is, it's a drink. And so cocktails are an excellent way, and you two ladies in Europe, you can start doing this now, are an excellent way to cool down on a hot summer's day while also getting merry on the alcohol content. Today is Pina Colada Day, so why not celebrate by sipping a glass of this yummy pineapple and rum-based drink? Okay, you got that, Januzzi and Maria? Secondly, it's Don't Step on a Bee Day today. Did anybody realize that? While you definitely shouldn't go stepping on bees today, Don't Step on a Bee Day is actually a reminder at how critical bees are to our lives and that they need our protection. A great way to get involved today is to campaign against the overuse of pesticides. So get protesting. Anyway, there we are. That's what July 10th is all about. Well, we have 24, does it say?
25.
25. Oh my gosh. That's what I actually had written down here, including one guest because we have one almost a member. Our guest, we've got two guests because our guest speaker, Dillon Smith from Covenant House, is here as well. And we also have Ismet Zorlo from Turkey, who told me that she would like to join our club and is arranging this with our membership chair, the renowned David Richardson. So how do we welcome our guests? I hope everybody's clapping. Okay. I don't know if we do that in Zoom meetings or not.
Just a question. We're seeing the top of your head. Is there any way you can change the angle of your camera a little bit? Because we're seeing the top of your head through most of the feed here. So we want to see your lovely face, if at all possible.
Okay, well, you know what? I can see if I can adjust that. Hold on.
Arthur, don't move quickly. We don't want you to fall in the water.
Let's see now. How's that?
Much better, much better. We can see your lovely face now.
You get to see the sports scarf too, that way. Woo!
Wonderful, wonderful.
Well, thank you for that, Walter. I'm now going to call upon Maria Scharfenberg to give us the reflection of the day. Maria, are you there?
I'm here, Arthur, and thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was going to talk about the art of listening, because listening to someone else is harder than you think. Most of the time, we actually don't do it. Yes, we are polite. We let the other person finish speaking, but we are not really listening, even though we are nodding and humming. But the truth is, often we are just waiting for an opportunity to speak ourselves. Because listening to someone else is not just about hearing the words being said. Listening is also about to deeply understand. Or to quote the well-known Danish philosopher and theologian Søren Kierkegaard, in order to help another effectively, I must understand more than he. Yet, first of all, surely I must understand what he understands. If I do not know that, my greater understanding will be of no help to him. If, however, I am disposed to plumb myself on my greater understanding, it is because I am vain or proud, so that at the bottom, instead of benefiting him, I want to be admired. My question to you today are, have you mastered the art of listening, of understanding, or are you just polite, quiet, and waiting for your turn to speak?
Thank you.
Well, I thought that was excellent.
Thank you.
And were you actually talking to me directly, Maria? I'm just wondering. But it's so true. And one of the things I've been doing this year is talking with all the members. And it's really interesting listening to what everybody's involved in. I still have a lot of calls left. But really, you cannot learn if you're talking. You have to listen in order to learn. And we're always learning. But Maria, that was an excellent little reflection you had there. No, I don't think Bob Vernon is here, is he? But I'd like to congratulate Bob, who's celebrating his 39th birthday again on July the 12th. So happy birthday, Bob, this week, if he happens to listen to the YouTube later. Now we have Happy Bucks. Chad, would you like to record the Happy Bucks? And I'm going to first of all ask, is there anybody that does have Happy Bucks?
Yep.
Oh, Ron.
Yep, it's worth at least $5. I went to see the surgeon this morning about my left hand, where I had surgery about 2 months ago, and he said it's coming on very well. I don't need to go back to see him again. All I have to do is to exercise it properly, which means transferring a tankard from my right hand to my left hand every time I drink. So this is sort of the exercise which I'll be doing as often as possible. So that's worth $5 at least to know I've come out of the shadow.
Well, Ron, I think that exercise you're getting now, what is it, a scotch or what is it?
Well, right now it's the middle of the day. The sun has just crossed the yard arm, so I'm just waiting to have my beer provided.
There's and as you say, excellent service there at your place. Now, is there anybody else that has Happy Bucks?
Sure, I have a happy buck. I said before that I met my wife 70 years ago. It was 1954. I was driving along the southern coast of France and saw three girls hitchhiking. One of them, my friend and I both knew, and we stopped to say hello. And one of the other girls that was there became my constant traveling companion for the next 68 years. And this is a special day for me.
Yeah, great.
It certainly is. Well, congratulations.
And I have $20. President,
You have how much did you say?
20.
Good news
I'm
here.
so happy. I'm so happy to see you all.
Well,
I'm grateful that you're my fellow friends. Thank you being my fellow friends.
well, I think it's fantastic that you're coming to us at shortly at almost 7:30 in the evening. And it's wonderful to see you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And anybody else? No? Okay. Well,
No, can I add something?
yes, you may.
Okay, I want to give $100 when Holland wins tonight.
Ah,
Wow.
I will not be here. I will not be here next week. Probably I'm traveling then. But the $100 I will send as Holland wins tonight.
Okay, if Holland wins.
Moi.
Nope.
Now, this is
We'll
gonna
all
be,
be cheering for Holland now.
Mm.
I will match that $100 if England wins.
so Ron, $100 if England wins. This sounds like betting.
So that's,
Now,
from the
you know
club,
something?
that is a win-win situation for the club.
My background is Dutch, but I have Irish, not English. So I'm going to match Maria's $100 should the Netherlands win today. How's that?
Wow.
Well, it looks like somebody's going to get something in Rotary because we have $200 going if Netherlands wins and $100 if England wins. So we're bound to have some money coming in for Happy Bucks. So I'm now going to call upon Craig Armstrong to introduce the speaker. Craig, are you there?
I am indeed. I'm in Office Central here. So let me introduce to you Dillon Smith. So Dillon Smith is on the fundraising and development team at Covenant House Toronto, specifically working with corporate donors and supporters. As Canada's largest agency serving youth who are experiencing homelessness and trafficking or those at risk, Covenant House offers the widest range of programs and services to hundreds of young people every day. More than a place to stay, Covenant House provides life-changing care with unconditional love and respect and meets youth's immediate needs while working together to achieve their future goals. And yeah, just on a personal note, I've met Dillon. Dillon's given me a tour of Covenant House, both me and Walter III, and just an excellent experience. Just they're so high class there, and just a great thing to support. So I will turn it over to Dillon Smith. Thank you for coming.
Thanks, Craig. Yeah, thanks for the kind words, and thanks everybody for having me. Yeah, it's a pleasure. It's always a nice opportunity when we can spend a few minutes chatting with some of our community supporters to show you what we're all about and to sort of demonstrate where your support goes. So sort of how this all came about was yeah, Craig had reached out last year around some funding that that your club had, that Rotary had, Toronto Eglinton, and we, you know, kind of explored what opportunities there were internally and sort of landed on a really impactful program where through your generosity, 3 young people at Covenant House have been provided with what we call new home care packages. So 3 young people, when they've moved out of shelter back into the community, into independent living, they don't have all of the things that you need, your necessities in an apartment, bedding and furniture and small appliances and pots and pans and things like that. And so through your funding, through those donations, 3 young people are gonna have those packages. So when they move into the community, they're able to put their best foot forward and don't have to worry about where all these things are going to come from, and they don't have to sleep on their living room floor for a month until they can afford a bed. All these things are going to be covered, which is really wonderful. So thank you very much for that, first of all. Yeah, I just wanted to spend 15 minutes or so just highlighting some of our programs and services at Covenant House. There's a quick video that actually just got released a few weeks ago that I think I'll start with. It's always better to hear from the experts themselves, which are the young people. So this is a video that's narrated by a young person who previously stayed at Covenant House in our emergency shelter and has continued to stay involved at Covenant House. He's a peer mentor, but he kind of spends 5 minutes walking you through the house. So I'm going to play that video for you now. Let's see.
The moment I tell them I used to be at Covenant House, they're like,
no way. The moment they take that in, they're like, okay, if he can do it, I can do it. I was born and raised in Nigeria. Came to Canada for better opportunities, studies, being an adult in a country that's completely foreign and new to you. You know, there's a lot of things that I had to learn that I wasn't prepared for. So I ended up at Covenant House here, where most of the last 2 years have unraveled to help shape who I am at this point in my life.
We often get youth when they're at their most vulnerable. They're usually in desperate need, and that's when they're sort of looking around for something to help fix their or alleviate their problems. This is where you're going to get the help to solve those problems.
When we first see a young person come into the clinic, definitely the first thing that we look at is safety. How are they feeling right now mentally? Are they feeling that they have control? And so the immediate need could be something like securing a bed. It could be immediate medical access, again, something that we do in the clinic. It might be basic supplies.
Being hungry can lead to a lot of things. It can make someone angry, it can make someone erratic, it can make someone very emotional. Taking that off someone's plate and helping them understand that, hey, whenever you need this, it's available to you. So now they have a lot more energy, a lot more will towards bettering themselves.
Our young people come to us because somehow, somewhere along their path, community has not been able to keep up with the demands of what it takes to walk through their journey together. So a trauma-informed approach would say, I understand you're really afraid. I understand that there have been multiple places in your life where it's felt really unsafe. But I'm going to stand here anyway. And I'm going to listen, and I'm going to respond, and I'm going to carry us through this journey together.
Walking in through those doors and having those conversations, I felt really at ease. I felt really comfortable, safe, and knowing, okay, this person is actually here to support me.
How do we build that relationship? And for a lot of the staff and the supervisors, it's about showing vulnerability, and it's about being real with the kids, right? So they're, oh, you don't know anything about being homeless. You're absolutely right, I don't. But I do know what it feels like to be lonely. I know what it feels like to be helpless. I know what it feels like to, be all of these other things. We have several things to kind of support the youth along the way through the day, such as wake-up times, meal times, if they go to school or work, or if they're part of our programming here for Cooking for Life or the Employment Center, we help them to get ready for that. When you have that structure, you can't help but to feel safe in the environment that you're in.
The structure is what keeps order in the space. And without the structure, it would be chaotic.
I think what's important is that we are open and honest with our young people about, some of the challenges that they are going to face when they're on their own. That could include things like budgeting and time management and conflict resolution, really important skills that they need to know when they're on their own.
Cooking for Life as a program is seen as a model for other organizations who are developing or working toward pre-employment low barrier program.
I think sports can really be an expression without voice. You can use your physical body, you can use your emotions, you can use your other talents to really express yourself.
As human beings, we are hardwired to be in connection with people. Not having a welcoming, safe community to walk into, there's no reason for them to step forward and feel like life is going to be any different for them. So it is essential that we build a community that represents compassion, growth, and safety.
I think people should know the staffs here, like they're capable, they have the tools, they have the requirements and the skill set to push you on a different level, mentally, emotionally, as long as you're open to it. Sometimes we don't know what we're capable of until someone helps us remember, hey, a lot more capable than you think you are. Because all of it is a possibility up until you do what is required of you to get it done.
So I had like a 10 or 15 minute PowerPoint, but that was before this video got released, and I think that video can can speak to our programs and services, particularly through Robson's eyes, better than I ever could. I've had the pleasure of meeting Robson a few times throughout my time at Covenant House. I've been there for just over 4 years. Wow, time flies. And I've met Robson a few times throughout my time at Covenant House, and to see his growth from sort of when he first came to Covenant House, sort of the issues that he was dealing with at the time, to a really confident young man who's dedicated to giving back to other young people at Covenant House. It's really inspiring, and it's not rare. There's so many stories like Robson at Covenant House of young people who just really had a bad, hand of cards dealt to them from birth, and it's tough to make a life out of that if you didn't have parents around to teach you right from wrong, or basic skills or things like that. And that's where a lot of the young people at Covenant House are coming from. And so that's why we're there. We're ultimately a place for young people who are experiencing homelessness, are experiencing trafficking, or those who are at risk of it. Young people who just need to use our community drop-in services. We're really there for everybody in the community that needs our support. The issues of homelessness, housing insecurity, food insecurity, poverty, the issues are only growing in Toronto, but across Canada. I mean, there's something like 3 million people that use a food bank in Canada on any given month. We're seeing more and more young people that are coming to us for help, more and more young people who don't have housing, who don't have stable employment, who aren't getting the mental health services that they need, who don't have a family to teach them wrong from right. And it's really tough to see, but it's really important for us to have supporters in our corner, like Rotary, who can help us when we're there, sort of trying to help these young people transition from that shelter into that community living, because that's the ultimate goal, right? Is we want to help these young people be prepared so that when they move out of shelter, they're ready to thrive in the community once again. And so that's kind of where we come from. That was kind of why I was here, just to really say thank you, to shine some light on our organization. Just looking at the clock, keeping mind of time. I'm happy to answer any questions anybody may have about Covenant House. There's plenty of ways to get involved if you'd like. We're always looking for individual volunteers, mentors who kind of work a bit more one-on-one with young people, to provide them with counseling and coaching, and just an ear if they need it. There's fundraising events that are going on throughout the year that are quite fun. So there's lots of ways to get involved as well. But yeah, I'll just hold there, and if there's any questions from the group.
Do you need a referral to get in the Covenant House, or can somebody walk in off the street and say I'm homeless and get help?
Yeah, that's a great question. Most of the young people that we see are in the second group, so they're coming to us from the street that need help. They've either heard word of mouth through a friend who's in a similar experience that they were able to find care at Covenant House. So we often see that. So we have an intake that's open 24/7, 365 days a year. So if a young person needs help off the street, they can come directly to the front doors. We do have a pretty extensive network of community partners and services that we work with. So we do get a fair amount of referrals too. We're sort of seen as a model agency for this type of work, particularly with youth. And so where there's availability and resources, yeah, we're always sort of accepting referrals too of young people that need care as well.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Jackie has a question.
Okay.
Yeah.
First of all, Dillon, I've heard nothing but wonderful things about Covenant House, and shout out to Craig Armstrong for championing our relationship with the organization. I guess I'm interested in obviously part of the recovery process is getting these kids engaged in learning. And do you have a good relationship with the major school boards? And like, where do the kids go? Do they go into section schools when they're ready to transition, or do they go into a section school or a regular school?
Yeah, no, it's a really thoughtful question. We have an on-site high school actually. It's quite wonderful. So
Okay.
it's kind of little known, but yeah, we do have an on-site high school that's available for young people that need to finish a few credits to get their diploma. So we teach the core credits. We have an accredited teacher on site. And the way that the learning is done is quite different from a public school. If sort of all a young person can have on their plate is one credit, one course, then that's totally fine. There's no sort of pressure to get it done in 4 years or whatever that looks like. But we also do have some really good partnerships with the public school board around awareness presentations and things like that, trying to get young people engaged before they become homeless, before they become at risk of some of these issues. So trying to make sure that school is a positive environment and that their family relationships are good. So we're also involved in schools in that sense too, in a sort of prevention measure. Thanks.
I think Ismet has a question.
Yes.
Yeah, I have. Hi, Dillon. Thank you for the presentation and the information. It was really important to learn the problems of the city and how we can manage these problems. And I think Covenant House is a very significant example to sustain a society with this sort of empowerment and rehabilitation of the youth, especially. I'm learning, and I want to ask you that what is the capacity of this Covenant House? Is it just one organization within the Toronto, or are there any network like this Covenant House? And the other question is, how long does it take to finish that process of one person, one homeless youth came and stayed there? Is there any period of time that afterwards they have to leave?
Yeah, so to answer the first question, so in Canada there's two Covenant Houses. So we've got our site in Toronto and then there's one in Vancouver. So the Vancouver site generally serves young people that are in BC and Alberta. Any young person that needs help and they're coming from a province that's east of Alberta, they'll come to Toronto. They'll be referred to Covenant House Toronto. There's quite a few Covenant House sites in the States as well, in the United States. As you all know, the social service sector and that looks vastly different in the US. And so the need for sort of street outreach and what that care looks like in the US is a lot different to what we have here. But yeah, there's I think 24, 25 sites across North America, with two in Canada. And to answer your second question, there's not a length of time per se. We want young people to be ready when they're leaving. There's no sort of point in trying to rush somebody out. We want to help as many young people as we can, but we want to provide them with quality care too. In terms of a general timeline, a young person stays with us for a year and a half on average, I would say, if they're in our shelter. It all depends on why they're coming to us in the first place, what level of care they need, sort of where they are in their sort of like independence journey, right? Some young people just need to be with us for a few weeks while they get themselves back on their feet. And some young people will be with us for a few years until they can kind of sort everything out and feel comfortable enough to move back out into the community. So it depends. But yeah, thank you. Thank you for the questions. Maria?
Yes, you are talking about, sorry. You're talking about young people. And my first question is, what age are you talking about? What is the age limit, both up and down? What's the youngest versus the oldest? And the second question is, what do you need the most from us?
Yeah, so for the first question, so we typically serve ages 16 to 24. We tend to see people skew younger on that scale. So like the 16 to 20 age group is really where we see a lot of young people. Pre-16, young people are in the care of Children's Aid Society. Once they age out of that at 16 is really when you start to see young people fall through the cracks, because they don't have those services there anymore, but they're expected to act like an adult at 17. So it doesn't really make sense. So there's a lot of young people that kind of will fall through the cracks at that age. And yeah, so we work up to 24 years of age, but we typically see young people in that 16 to 20 age range when, yeah, those services aren't there anymore, and they may not have that family support, and that's kind of where we see things start to kind of turn. For your second question, there's a few things. So obviously when we can get funding, monetary donations is the most impactful in terms of helping us move forward with our budget, of course. Above and beyond sort of monetary donations, we're always looking for items. So like food items, non-perishable food. Our drop-in food bank and our community drop-in center is always empty. It'll stock up, and then we'll do one day where the young people in the community can come in and grab food, and it'll be empty by the end of that day. And then we have to work pretty hard by the next week to replenish it. Non-perishable food items are always great, as well as gift cards. So we run a really special program around the holidays. It's a gift card drive. So throughout the entire year, we collect gift cards from supporters, from individual donors, whomever, usually in $5, $10, or $20 denominations. And we take all of the gift cards we get throughout the year, and we figure out how many young people are in Covenant House throughout the holidays. And we divide these up into like gift packages along with some other nice things, so that every young person has at least one gift to open around the holidays, because for a lot of these young people, they won't get a gift around the holidays, and they feel like there's nobody there that cares for them. So when we can provide just a little special touch like that around the holidays, it can make some tough times maybe a bit easier. So those would be the three sort of major ways that we typically recommend support. Yeah, thank you.
Now, Neelam, you have a question.
I have a couple of observations, just comments. One, I'm quite familiar with the Covenant House. Some years ago, when I retired from the Cabinet Office in Ontario, people normally give you gifts. So my choice of that was, rather than a gift, all the money they collected was given to Covenant House.
Oh,
so
wonderful.
The second comment is that, again, a few years ago, I was asked by Rotary to go evaluate a global grant, a pretty large global grant, which is almost $1 million in California on human trafficking. I was so impressed by them, the program they have put in there, and it's a Rotary district project there. So I talked about it to our district, and I ended up coming to Covenant House. I spoke with, I think, Jose Durego and a couple of others. So I'm familiar with that. So I'm really glad to see you and the other members get informed about your work. Thank you.
That's wonderful. Thank you. That's great to hear that you've been supporting us over the years. And Josie's still there. She's my boss. So that's awesome that you were able to chat with her. Thank you.
Yeah,
Ron Denham, you've got a question?
Yes, I have, Dillon. You mentioned the volunteers. What kind of skills are you looking for from volunteers?
I would say everything. In a short, really, we have a really wonderful volunteer team, a two-man team, small but mighty, but they work with volunteers, and really, essentially, any sort of interest, skill, teachable opportunity that a volunteer kind of wants to bring to the table, they're always all ears on how that can kind of benefit the young people at Covenant House, and they'll often have suggestions of maybe programs or activities that we're already doing in-house that like those volunteers can participate in, or if there's an appetite to like try and introduce something new, it's really blue skies when it comes to volunteering. So I guess that kind of answers your question, and perhaps not really, but there's some resources that I can send you. I can send Craig and Chad a link to our volunteer website if you'd like, just to have a look at that.
Well, that's really great. Normally we don't get so many questions. So I would say that your presentation was of great interest to the club.
Wonderful. That's great. Great
Now
to
I'm
hear.
going to ask Chad to officially thank Dillon for his excellent presentation today. Chad, are you?
Yeah, thank you very much, Dillon. Such an important role for society that Covenant House is filling in. I mean, it's wish the sort of public sector could do a little bit better job there. But thank you very much for sharing, and also thank you for finding a project that sort of fit in what Rotary, our youth committee there in Craig was looking for. That's great. I know we like to sort of be directly involved and be able to put a face to every dollar that we sort of give. So
sure.
that was great that you found that for us, and I hope our relationship going forward continues to grow. And thanks again for taking the time to speak and to answer all our questions. That's much appreciated.
Yeah, thank you, everybody.
Thank you again, Dillon. Now we're going to go back to our regular meeting. And Dillon, if you'd like to stay, you could listen to what we're talking about, or if you'd like to leave us now, because I assume you're busy, that's up to you. Thanks again for your presentation. It's been really great, and I wouldn't be surprised if some people are getting in touch with you with further questions. Thank you very much, Dillon. With that, I would like to go over some of my announcements for today. First of all, a reminder about the first annual Rotary Toronto Eglinton Kawarthas Barbecue at my cottage on August the 14th. We have about 22 people coming, which is great so far. But if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me. In addition, another reminder about the Rotary Golf Tournament being hosted by the Rotary Golf Clubs of Toronto, Eglinton, Toronto East, East York, and Toronto. This event is being held at the Richmond Hill Golf Club on the morning of Tuesday, September 17. All the monies the individual clubs raise with these clubs are going for participation in many ways. Now, all the money is going to go back to the clubs themselves. And so how you can participate, putting a foursome together of friends and family. We hope to have about 7 to 10 foursomes from our club. Sponsorships, providing silent auction items for the event, and volunteering at the event itself. A foursome is $900. They're not accepting individual people coming. They only are accepting foursomes. So if you'd like to play, get 3 other people to come with you. All the proceeds from our club are going to be benefiting trails. Please contact Bill Martin if you should have any questions about the event. And thank you for your support on behalf of Stephen Bianco, Bill Martin, David Richardson, and the fundraising committee. Another major event that's coming up is the District 7070 conference at the Nottawasaga Inn in Alliston. Now, this is west of Highway 400 on Highway 89, so it's before you get to Barrie. And it is October the 25th to the 27th. This is a marvelous event. It really is. It's a lot of fun, and you get to meet a lot of people from the district. So it's a really great way of getting to meet other Rotarians. The agenda on Friday at 4 o'clock, you can check in. The opening night party starts at 7 o'clock, hosted by District Governor of Virginia, who is absolutely fantastic. If some of you haven't met her yet, she is really great. She hosted the meeting in Chicago when the president-elects all went down there, and she's just a wonderful person. And also the district governor-elect niece will also be there. We have some keynote speakers. David Miller, you might remember him. He's the former mayor of Toronto. Sophia Abraham, she's Results Canada's public engagement manager. You may be wondering what that is, but Results Canada believe no one should suffer or die from preventable diseases or lack opportunities because of where they were born. Then we have Graham Trude, a Canadian country musician, performer, and songwriter with a characteristically big voice and an even bigger heart. So quite three quite different presenters there. And then that night, gala dinner with a Grammy-nominated band. On Sunday, we have Tracy Schmidt, who's the cabinet minister with the province of Manitoba, Minister of Environment and Climate Change. And then we have Paul Saltzman, a Canadian film and television producer and director and two-time Emmy Award recipient. And then the closing ceremonies. So it's really quite a spectacular weekend where you'll be well entertained and you'll certainly meet a lot of wonderful people. The cost per person is $395, $300, close to $400, including HST. So that should be something you should get your name in for straight away. I was going to pass along to Glenn Forrest for an update in the community service, but apparently there's not an update at this point in time. Are there any other updates from any other members before we close up the meeting? Is there anybody else?
Hello.
Tom, did you have something?
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify a thing that you said.
Okay.
Yes, we want people to register foursomes, but if you just want to get into a foursome and you can't get one together, call Bill Martin, call myself, and we'll find three other people, or we might have three people looking for a fourth. We will take singles. We want money. Okay, so we're not picky about where it comes from or how we get it. We'll take it in quarters if we have to. But and because this is going to trails, our money goes to trails, right?
Yeah,
David?
to finish that, correct. And to finish that off, we now have 4 foursomes registered to date, so that's a good thing. We're on a good start, and Tom's been working it hard. Trust me, he's been really working it hard. I'm seeing all the emails going out and seeing all the registrations, so it's good.
Well, that's excellent. I think it's going to be a fun event. I haven't put my name in yet, but I will. I'm actually working on my drives and my fairway woods, my approach shot and my putting, but I should be able to get it all together. Who knows? Anybody else that wanted to say anything?
Yes.
David?
Yeah.
Right. Sorry, Stephen, go ahead.
August the 25th. We did Woodbine last year and I was asked to repeat it. So on Sunday, August the 25th, post time 1 o'clock, what's going to be our annual trip to Woodbine. It's in the post parade lounge, which is where we were last year, which is a beautiful site overlooking the track. And it's a minimum of $25 per person, food and booze, and $10 registration. But program, parking, and entry is all free. And it's the only event you're going to have all year where you can walk out with more money you put than you put in. So hopefully we'll get a reminder of the date coming out. And in early August, they notice. So we've got room for 30 people, invite friends, etc.
Very good. David, did you have something?
No, I was just going to ask, do we have times yet, Stephen?
Yeah, it's 1 o'clock post time.
Okay. So you want us there about 12, right?
12:30. 12:30.
David?
Fine.
Yeah.
David, back on the golf, David.
Yes.
If we have a foursome registered and I've put together different people, but now I have other people that want to come and golf with me, and I'd like to move some of the people out of my foursome into another one that I'm making. Is that achievable?
Don't mention names.
Yes. Tom, to answer your question, yes, it is possible. We just need to change it up. We just wanted to have names on the system. So when you do register, it pops up. But if you want to come back, I'm recording them on a separate Excel spreadsheet. So if you want to move people around, either reach out to Bill or myself.
Now, I think it's well worth mentioning at this point in time, because a lot of people have been to charity golf events before, that first of all, it's a shotgun start, right? And it's best ball.
Correct.
Yep.
So we should get through the 18 pretty quickly. I mean, we should. I don't know if I should be volunteering to be the marshal to get some people moving along, but basically you hear horror stories of people with never played golf before in these charity events holding up everybody else. And so I think it would be good to have a marshal out there that suggests to people they just pick up their balls and move to the next hole if they're not golfers. Does that seem reasonable?
Yeah, the other good thing is everybody on the course is pro-Rotarian, and it will give you a chance to meet the foursome in front of you and the foursome behind you.
Well, hopefully not the people behind you, because that means they're hitting into you. Anyway, but anyway, this sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to put my name in as well to join a group of maybe some of these deselected members from your group, Tom. Anyway, is there anything else anybody else wanted to mention?
Walter or Arthur, just a thought. Our holiday dinner at the Rosedale Golf Club will be coming around sooner than most of us would like it. We always ask for contributions. We may want to think about designating Covenant House as the recipient rather than the Daily Bread Food Bank next year.
Very good. This is for the Christmas lunch, I presume you're talking about.
I second that, definitely.
No. I don't like the word holiday. I mean, we take our holidays in the summer. So when is the lunch? Is it next week? Anyway, the lunch that we have in December is the one you're talking about. Yeah.
Just to make clear, the only thing that I'm aware of is people donated socks and things like that. There was no monetary donation that I'm aware of.
We have in the past brought food supplies, but we could change it.
Let the committee figure out
The
what.
last couple of years when Don was doing it and Josepha, it was socks and things, scarves and gloves and so on. But yeah, sure, as we get closer to it, but just so you know, there was no monetary donation. And
by the way,
Craig, I want to tell you, I really like these gift cards. They seem to make a lot of sense.
By the way, where's the venue for the party in December?
John, is it still at the Rosedale Golf and Country Club?
I guess I can still get us in. Yeah, we got a tentative date booked.
Yeah, because as an alternative, I'm a member of the Toronto Hunt, which is fantastic as well. So if that's something else that you want to consider, I could certainly speak to them and find out what kind of days are available.
Sure.
So is this a fundraising event?
No.
Okay, we do have a new committee that's going to be in charge, and it's Walter the Third. So we'll turn it over to Walter. I'll speak to him about that to get that all organized. And presumably Walter will be looking for some committee members for his new committee. So if anybody wants to join this new social committee, please get in touch with him. But
yes, it's an engagement and social committee. So
what did you say, Walter?
It's an engagement and social committee.
Yes, exactly. So anything else anybody wanted to say? Well, okay. So next week we have our own Paul Buccini He's going to give us his classification talk. It'll be a hybrid meeting, so we'll be back at the Toronto lawn as well as on Zoom. So if there's nothing else, we are done for this week, and I will officially close the meeting. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you,
Have a
guys.
fabulous week.
Well done.
Okay. Bye now.
Well done, Arthur. Well done.
Thanks, Walter.
Thank you so much. See you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.